Slovakia for the interruption. This is part 2 of this sit-down lesson. Through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. Slovakia had to cut short part 1 of the lesson because I had to help a family member out with something. But this is part 2 of this lesson in regards to, I brought out part 1 of the video I did of second Ezra 9-3 that shall be upwards of the people of the world. And that's what we see, as I was mentioning before, as I cut the video short, part 1. What I was trying to mention was, I did a video on mentioning, Turkish soldiers and the Kurdish soldiers were clashing with one another. And, Turkey got that operation down in Syria. And, it's already enough that Kurdish people going against the Turkish military. Going against, the Turkish military going against the Kurdish military going against the Turkish military. So you're seeing that clash between those two groups. I did a video on that yesterday. Now you have this right here. I'm going to read it again for application's sake. 4 people killed, several injured in a Kurdish Providence protest reports. And it said 4 people were killed during a demonstration. And I believe just a while back over there in Turkey. Not too long ago, they had Turkish residents versus Kurdish residents. Because, the Turkish people sometimes look at the Kurdish people as bad people, as them being people doing terrible, crazy acts and stuff like that. Harming innocent men, women, and children, of a part of a negative group or organization. That's what the Turkish look at the Kurds. That's why you have tensions between the Kurds and the Kurdish and the Turkish. People can't really get along with one another, because they look at one other side of a group, of a race, of the nation of people as being bad people or into a organization that's can cause harm to men, women, and children. And that's what the Turkish people look at the Kurdish people as, That's where you got continuing tensions in Syria with the operation Turkey has did for quite some time. Now the operation is underway, down in Syria. Now you have the Turkish organization groups, clashing with the Turkish soldiers. Now you got this right here. 4 people killed, several injured in a Kurdish Providence protest. It says 4 protesters were killed during a demonstration in Davandre, the Kurdish stand Providence on Monday against the death of Mahsa Amini was in the custody of Iran's mortality police. Saudi-funded opposition media Iranian International report. And the additional 7 injuries were reported across the Kurdish province. Many protests against the Iranian authorities who repeatedly used tear gas and firing at protests. So that shows you more signs of, the nations are gathering up against one another. And it could be from many different things. Because you're going to have these increase of protesters and upwards of the people in the world, Then you're going to have that second Ezra 15 and verse 16. That should be sedition among men type spirit. You're going to see these things are increasing right along with the upwards of the people in the world. Even though this is typical, where you're going to start seeing it increase at a higher grand scale, throughout the whole planet Earth. Not just one spot. There's going to be in many other different spots as well, too. You're going to have on different type of issues in many different categories of if it's from an economic sense, a gender role, or a justice, or freedom of speech. It could be anything, because it's going to be uproars of the people of the world. They should not regard their kings nor their princes, and of course their action shall stand in their power. Because you're going to have these citizens in the uproar, these people that's in power. They're going to be in the uproar in the processes of these officials that's in charge. And they might not agree with certain laws that's been ripened, and they look at it as unrighteous decrees, So it's going to be a lot of uproars in the people of the world. Nations clashing against one another along with the uproars of the people. So these things are definitely going to increase more and more and more and intensify in the latter days that we are currently in. So with that, I just wanted to finish up part 1 of the video where I just left off at. Now this is part 2, So I hope this is edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua for part 1 and part 2 of this video, So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great wisdom, pushing his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, after the four corners of the globe, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim. And with that, I would say shalom and above.